you have entered the doors to This Is Where Zap podcast, also known as Tawia. So therefore, you are now affiliated. You are now family. Thank y'all for stopping by. We want you to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and also turn on post notifications so you know when we post our videos. Yes, we have dope content, so you will never ever miss it once you hit that bell. Thank y'all for stopping by. I go by the name of El Jefe. I'm your host, and I got my partner, my co-host, Shelly Baby, in the house. Talk to you guys soon. Peace. And just like that, we are back in the house. Where we at? We are at This Is Where Zap podcast. And you know my name already. I go by the name of El Jefe, right? But I got my co-host, and she goes by the name of
Shelly Baby.
Yeah. So you know, it's another day, another beautiful day, another gorgeous day, another good day to be alive. To say the least, we are happy. I'm happy. Are you happy, Shelly?
I am filled with joy.
Woo-wee. Yeah. That's what I'm talking about. Anything when you wake up in the morning to be 6 feet above ground soil. U.S. soil. China soil. Wherever you are. Soil. Whatever country you're in. Being above soil. 6 feet above. It's a beautiful thing. Being alive. Being alive. And being happy. Man, oh man. So I got something to say.
What do you have to say?
I want to say this real quick. To everybody out there. Never forget where you come from to know where you're going. Because if you look at your past and see where you are right now, you're no longer back there anymore. So the goal is to keep moving forward. Keep going to your destination. Continue the journey. Hope you guys remember that. Didn't tell y'all that over the weekend because we forgot to put that in one of our podcasts. But here it is. So, today's episode, we are going to talk about women who dresses too sexy for their age. Hear that a lot. I heard that so many times, but I have my opinion on it. And I'm sure Shelly Baby has her opinion on it too. And I'm sure you guys do as well. But we're going to start off with our opinion first. We'll let y'all, give y'all feedback later on. But check this out. How do you feel about that? How do I feel about that from a guy? But Shelly,
I want to know how you feel about it.
Now you go first.
Nah.
You go first because I don't. I got two ways of looking at it, so I'll let you start it off. Because mine's a long-winded type of answer, so.
I don't know. I guess it just depends on the arena in which the woman chooses to dress. And I don't really know how do you dress your age,
Right.
Like, I mean, I think when you're younger, okay, I'm not really talking about grown women, but I think when you're younger, we hear that oftentimes, dress your age, act your age, that sort of thing. So I think that is appropriate, for a little girl to dress her age. But then I think once you tip over into adulthood, womanhood, people tend to feel like they can dress however they want.
Right.
As long as it's not hurting anyone else, then why does it matter? Of course, that's the thought process. I guess the question is that right or is it wrong? I think it's just really contingent upon how each individual feels about that. I know in the workplace, I can say this. As a woman working in corporate, I think more women have faced backlash from other women who were in position of authority. All right. And let's say I'm going to use myself as an example. I come into the workplace and, I'm looking cute, at least I think and I feel that way. And I may have on like a little pencil skirt, nice blouse. And because of how I'm shaped, just that in and of itself might be deemed as offensive to, a woman that's in, a position of authority, let's say my boss. And she may say something like, oh, you shouldn't be wearing that, you kind of get that kind of backlash from, I think, other women because they may feel somewhat intimidated. But I've known that when I've worked for men who were my boss, I didn't get that. So I'm sure that's probably why you may have two different ways of looking at it, because it's like, hey, that might be eye candy for you. But if I'm not hurting anyone, I'm coming to work on time and I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing, and if it's not hurting anyone, especially if it's not hurting them, and my productivity is on point, then yeah, so what? But I don't know really about the dressing your age. I mean, I guess, for me, I've always had a phobia of acting old.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? We often talk about age in terms of, 50 is like the new 40s or something like that, or 40s is like the new 30s. And so, we look at our peers within our age group and we're like, you look good, for your age. You look like you're, like, say, for instance, if you're 45, you might have people saying that you look like you're in your 30s, like early 30s. Uh-huh. And so sometimes that might prompt you to feel like, well, since I don't really look like I'm in my mid-40s, then it's okay to dress like I'm a 30-something-year-old.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And get away with it. And so, and then, too, we live in a society, like, okay, when I was growing up, my grandmother was a grandmother. When I say that, meaning she was, like, in her late 60s, 70s, that sort of thing. And I grew up even as a little girl with her looking like a grandmother and acting like a grandmother. These grandmothers that we have now, they tend to be a lot younger, and some of them may dress like, I guess, some of their 20-year-old something children, Mm-hmm. So I guess maybe that's what that is saying in terms of dressing your age. But I think most people dress according to how they feel. I think most people dress according to what it is that they want to attract.
Right.
And I think that's something that, we all, male and female, regardless of age, have to be cognizant of. When you put on something, you may say, okay, I feel great in this. I know I look good. But when you step out, you have to understand, you have to realize that people are going to measure you based upon what you look like. Mm-hmm. I mean, it takes only 5 seconds.
Right.
And that's even before you open your mouth.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I guess I grew up in a household where my mother, she always talked about modesty, and having someone be attracted to you based upon your heart and your mind. And whatever was underneath those clothes was for your husband, what I'm saying?
Right.
And it, and give people something to think about. Like, well, what's under there? You know what I'm saying? Because if you put it on display, then you can't get mad if everybody and their brother and uncle and granddaddy is approaching you, and people who are approaching you is not really what you're trying to attract. So again, that's why I say I think it's a case where you do still have to be mindful of what you're putting on display, how you are representing yourself. Because my mom, her thing was, her and my dad both, it's not just about you when you go out here into society or in the community or into the world. It's how you not only representing yourself, but it's how you're representing your family.
Kids. Yeah, your family and kids.
Right.
I agree. I agree.
So I guess I would say for me, I typically I don't really judge people based upon what they wear, because I guess it's like to each his own. For me, I believe in, for me, dressing according to my body type. And what I deem as classy, because I always equated classiness with timelessness. You know what I mean? Classy equals timeless. And, I've never really been a trendy person. I've never really been one to put a lot on display, because I want to leave a little bit to the imagination, But, I guess to each his own. That's how I look at it. You know what I'm saying? And I think you really have to look at it from two different approaches. Okay, if you put something on that's a little provocative and you go out, how does that make you feel? Does it make you feel a little uncomfortable, even though you may be getting a lot of attention? Versus you dressing like really classy, but you still look good. And you look good. So when you step out, how does that make you feel? You're still going to get attention. You may not get the same type of attention, but you still have to be mindful of what type of attention you're getting.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And you can't get mad either, because if you're dressing provocatively, regardless of age, right, you have to be mindful of the fact that you're going to garner a lot of attention, but it's not going to always be positive.
Right. So I'm looking at it like this. There's a certain type of confidence when it comes to how people dress, right? Like you mentioned earlier, the grandmas back from the 30s and 40s and 50s dressed a certain way. The grandmas in the 2000s dressed another type of way, right? So you have different types of upbringings, right? You have old-fashioned people, then you have the new age people. The new age generation of, grandmothers, because we're talking about women that dresses too sexy for their age, which in my opinion, there's boundaries on how you should dress being a family woman or a man. There's limitations on things you should wear and what you shouldn't wear. Because if you have kids, and like I said, this is my opinion, if you have kids, understand that your kids are in school, right? Middle school, elementary, high school, whichever one, college. You go out here showing half of your body, like showing some buttocks that's like halfway hanging out, showing a lot of there's nothing wrong with showing a little cleavage, but when you're showing a lot of cleavage, and it's okay, like I said, it's okay to be sexy and dress sexy, that's fine, but understand that you also have people out here you are representing, that people also know your family, they know your kids. But the most important thing is, why do you dress this way if you already know that it's not appropriate to dress this way. But see, the thing is too, I understand that some people have a lot of confidence and some people have low self-esteem, right? I think what it is, a lot of times people don't get a certain type of or just get compliments a lot like some other women get, so they feel like they got to compete with other females that's dressed in this way in the clubs or whatever. So like, you know what, I know I'm 50, I know I'm 60, I want to go out there and show I still got it too. Let me see what kind of attention I still can get.
Yeah, but you know what, and I don't mean to cut you off, but see, here's the thing. You dress a certain way. Like I said, if you're in your late 40s, 50s, or whatever, you may not look like that appearance-wise. I'm not talking about how you dress, but like in the face. So if you decide, okay, I'm just going to kind of dress like how my 20-something-year-old, 30-something-year-old daughter is dressed, then you have to also understand that these type of men within that age category are going to approach you as well. So the question you have to ask yourself, are you ready to entertain those group of people?
But it's not really just that either. It's the fact that you can dress a certain. There's different limits of sexy, right? There's different sexiness you can be, that you can be a part of. Like my sexy is nice, a nice suit, a nice pair of slacks, some shoes, and a button-down shirt with maybe 2 or 3 buttons unbuttoned with a chain on, right? That's my sexy for being the age that I am. Now there's other sexy for men that just want to show, they got tight pants that want to show everything in the front and just got to have everything shown of what they worked hard for to get, But that's not me. So on the other side, you have women that don't have the shape they really want to have, but they will wear extra tight clothes to show the shape that they wish they did have. But in their eyes or in their mirror, it's a different type of mirror than what we're seeing. So they would wear these spandex pants that just shows every single thing, which some things should be imaginary. I don't want to see it. I want to imagine in my mind. I wonder what I look like underneath that. I don't want to see it in public. So again, not just women with kids, just women in general. It's just, do you have limitations on how sexy you can dress? Because you have people you represent, and some women don't care, because like you said earlier, some people just feel like, hey, it's my body, it's me, I'm grown, I can do what I want, I wear what I want, where I want to wear it, how I want to wear it. That's cool. But if you want the respect from men, if you're trying to find yourself a good guy, there's certain things he's not going to want you to wear in public. And then, when you first meet him, your comeback is going to go, well, you met me this way. So a guy can't change you. You're not going to have a guy trying to change how you dress later on in a relationship. That's going to be your comeback. Well, you met me this way, so what's wrong with me dressing this way now? Like I said, I don't have a problem with my lady dressing sexy for me. Now, if she want to dress sexy on the outside, then we have limitations. Like, there's going to be time I'm going to say, hey, babe, I don't think that's appropriate for you to wear that out there. And she can say the same thing to me too as a guy, because that we're representing each other at this point. Yeah. So I would say, from a guy point of view, that I think there's nothing wrong with dressing sexy when you're in your 50s, 60s, and 70s. Because I've seen like Jada Pinkett mom. That lady is bomb. That lady is the bomb. God, dog. To be 68 years old. She is beautiful. Sheesh. I would talk to her. But she has a classy, sophisticated, elegant type of sexy. And that's why I said there's different types of sexy out there.
And that's the type that I was saying is it's timeless.
Right.
It's like, she has a level of love for herself, you can tell, and confidence and strength that comes from within. So that exudes, it just oozes out. And it's like, and not only does she, she, of course, it looks as though she takes care of herself, but
right, you can tell she does.
Her body, so she can wear certain things and get by,
right,
and not, have anyone bat an eye or say anything, about it. But again, it's. I think I said, before, it's when you put so much on display, that is what may garner sometimes negative attention that you may not necessarily want. But you still have to take into account that, like, I've had a guy, one of my male associates, tell me, I'm going to look at it. Absolutely. I'm going to look. I might even get aroused looking at you. I might even want to take you home and, have sex with you. But I'm not going to want to take you home to meet my mother, because what you put on display is not only for me to see, but you've allowed other guys to see the same thing.
Right.
And that is unappealing to me. So I've heard guys say mixed things about it. But again, I think it's just one of those things where, women can wear what they want based upon, whatever makes them feel good. I mean, we can stand on the outside looking in and say, okay, that's inappropriate or whatever. But again, I still feel like that person, that individual, has to be mindful of how they are going to be viewed by someone outside of that mirror that they're themselves looking in each day before they walk outside the house.
Right. Right.
So
and that's what it comes down to. It's just how much respect do you have for your sexiness? Like elegance, sophisticated, those are my type of sexy. Those are most guys that, that's from the old, I wouldn't say old school, but I got one of those old fashioned type, motherly Claire Huxtable type, Jada Pinkett's mom, whatever her mom name is, I don't know her name, but between Jada Pinkett mom and Claire Huxtable, I like those type of women that were mothers, but also knew how to be sophisticated, sexy. So, on that note, that was the opinions of Shelly Baby and El Jefes about, can a woman dress too sexy for the age that she is if she's like over 40 plus? Is it too sexy to dress a certain way? So, you heard it first, and that was our opinion. And don't get it twisted now. It's okay to dress sexy, but just understand when you have kids, families. I mean, you got young people out here dressing a certain way, and I don't agree with it. I see it all the time. I don't say nothing because in my mind, it's like, okay, you're going to be one of those females that say, I can't find a good man for nothing. And the reason why you can't find a good man is because the way you're dressing for all men. You want attention for a lot of men to look at you. Now, your outside shouldn't be the reason why you get a man. It's the inside. You feel good about yourself and you dress a certain way and you can dress sexy. Like I said, you can dress sexy. But I think this generation now needs to understand what being sexy is, because sexy is not just wearing less of anything.
Well, we've grown up in, a generation, I know I did, where we heard less is more.
Right. And that's what's going on now. Like if you watch TV shows, you see all that on the what do you call it, reality shows.
Yeah.
And that's what people pay attention to. Is this dressing this way will get me this type of person? Or going out this way with me and my girl because she dresses this way, I should dress this way to fit in. But look at, like you said, look at the type of people you're attracting. You're going to meet guys that have money that's going to throw money at you. Because sometimes you can look a certain way and the guy be like, you know what? She's a gold digger. I can tell. Well, you may not be a gold digger, but in his eyes, the way you dress may think other guys, you know what I'm saying, may make them think that you are all about money. And that's the way he's going to wheel you in, by showing you money, because you're going to flock to it. And most times when you go out, there are some women that I've seen that, you know, dress a little bit provocative, but they still maintain a nice, laid-back, you know, sophisticated attitude. You know, they know how to handle themselves, and they come in the club with the girls and they leave out the club with the girls. They don't leave with guys. But still, it's just the fact of how you carry yourself when you dress sexy. Now, like I said, when you're in a relationship, when you're representing your family and kids.
And your mate.
That's what I said, when you're in a relationship. It's just, you have to understand that there's limitations to how sexy you should dress in public. Now, behind closed doors, the less you wear is better for me.
Now, I've seen now, it depends. You know, there's some guys that's like, this is my trophy. Look at her. Right. I've seen that too. Look at her. Look at that body. Look at what she got. Yeah, it's all mine.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it really just depends on, you know, what it is that, you know, your mate finds attractive. And like I said, you know, I don't know. I just, sexiness is really just more like a state of mind.
That's all it is.
It's not about what you wear, and, you know, the size and shape of your body and all that kind of stuff. It's really, it's about your state of mind.
It's your confidence, the confidence in yourself within.
Yeah.
Sexiness is not just the outside. Because, see, to me, sexy can be how smart a woman is. To me.
And how great her heart
is. Exactly. It's just how you treat me, that could be a sexy. You know what I'm saying? So, it doesn't always have to be the appearance. So that's what we have to get the younger generation to understand. It's not always the appearance. It's who you are as a person, as a whole, your character. So until...
And where, unfortunately, some people miss out on, because based upon what they've put on display, like they may have a pretty face, but then they put everything else on display.
Right.
And so a good man may say, nah, I don't even want to entertain that, because, you know, that's a little too much for my own taste. You know, that's a little too much for me to want to bring home to my mother. And I think you said something too about how you meet a person at that moment. Like, you know, of course you can inspire them to change, but what if they don't? So you really, it's like kind of dating potential or whatever the case may be. So you don't want to do that, because placing that level of expectation on someone else to be who you want them to be, and if they don't live up to that expectation, you may feel a huge letdown. So that first impression means a lot. It means a great deal in your vetting process, because we all go through the vetting process. We all do, men and women. We all do.
Right.
You know, and so it's just true. You know, like I said, you know, for me, yeah, it's just I'm a little more laid back. I'm a little more modest, you know, and stuff like that. But, and it's not because, you know, I have a body that I'm ashamed of. No, not at all. It's just that, you know, I think because of, you know, the generation in which I grew up in and the type of parents that I had, that instilled in me, like, okay, it's not about what you wear and that sort of thing, or, you know, and putting your body on display. It's about you having a pretty mind and a pretty heart. Right. It's the inner beauty. The inner beauty. You know, because all that other stuff is going to fade.
It is.
I mean, you might have a nice, you know, frame or whatever, whether it's a natural frame or whether it's something that was enhanced by you deciding to go and get some stuff done or whatever. But at the end of the day, all that's going to fade anyway at some point. Right. Yeah. Right.
So that's our opinion, and we're sticking to it. So you guys have your opinion, we have ours, and we just hope you guys, you know, dress the way you want to dress. That's all we can say. Dress how you want to dress, but still understand you're representing people in your lives. So until then, We will catch you on the other side. But Shelly, do you have any positive words you want to leave them with for today? Because I said my positive word that I meant to display for our weekend podcast, but I forgot. So I brought mine in the beginning part to make up for it. But do you have yours for the end of this episode?
No, basically I think what I said is what I said in the podcast, you know?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
The sexiness is really just the attitude, your attitude. It's all about your attitude and your personality. That's what it's really all about.
That's
because
right.
you can have a nice body and all that, put that, like I said, on display. But as soon as you open your mouth and what flows out doesn't match
Right.
what you look like in appearance-wise, yeah, you're going to lose some folks. So it's really about an attitude and your personality. That's what it's all about.
That's it.
And just being mindful of how you represent yourself, you know, the type of attention that you're garnering, as well as how you're representing your family.
Pow. All right, folks, you heard it. So until then, next time, we love y'all. Y'all have a blessed day, and we out.